That looks so hard. I could never do that. I can't draw, so I certainly can't do Sgraffito. I can't possibly spend hours carving just one piece. Have you ever felt that way about Sgraffito? I would love to know in the comments if that's something that you've thought about Sgraffito before. I know I was intimidated by Sgraffito at first since I do not draw well. Maybe you haven't tried Sgraffito because it can be intimidating. The internet has lots of examples of perfect, ultra-detailed pottery carvings that look like they take hours, and that's if you possess the skills to do it. Well, Sgraffito is actually really cool, and it does not have to be complicated. It can be super simple. At its core, it's putting down color on a leather-hard pot, and then scratching back some of the color to reveal the clay underneath. It's simple. Now, occasionally, when I do have time, I do enjoy spending extra time on pots like these ones, but even these are simple repeating patterns. But most of the time, I just like making some simple designs that add a lot to the pot with really not a lot of effort. Today, I'm going to show you how I did the Sgraffito on this pot. First, I put down some color on my leather hard pot. In this case, I used colored slip that I mixed up, but using underglaze works really awesome too. Then, when the slip dried, but the pot was still leather hard, I started in on my design. First, I picked a spot on the side of my pot. Any spot works, guys. Don't have to make it complicated. Then I carved a ring of short lines in the clay, going around it in a circle like flower petals. Then I went out a little from my circle of petals and made another ring of petals, this time with the short lines between the previous lines. Then I repeated the pattern again. Super easy, short lines. This is easy. At this point, I have a nice little flower starburst pattern, and I could just keep going exactly like this. I could just do one giant one, I could do one tiny one. But for this pot, I decided to temporarily leave this one be, and I picked another point on the side of the pot a little ways away. This was, again, not exact. I am not measuring anything. No guidelines have been drawn. I'm just going for it. It's simple. So once I picked a new spot at random, I started over with the small ring of short lines, making a tiny flower, and I added rings until it's bigger, same exact thing. Then I moved on to another spot and did the same thing again. I ended up doing the same pattern 4 times around the sides. Since this is a hanging planter and the bottom is going to be very visible, I did the same thing on the bottom as well. At this point, it looks pretty cool and I like it. You could totally stop here. You could stop at any point, but this took me about 4 minutes real time to get to this point, and I wanted to keep going. I decided to fill the whole pot with the little lines. I went back to each of the little pattern flowers I had made and expanded them using more little lines. It's all the same pattern, all the same motions, until all the flowers were touching. This creates this really cool overall pattern that starts from several different points and doesn't really end anywhere. It's fun, it's eye-catching, and it's really just a bunch of little lines. Super simple to do. Sgraffito can be mountains, trees, ultra detailed animals and people, and all of that is super awesome. It also adds a ton of interest to a pot by just adding a bunch of little lines like I did here though. Simple Sgraffito is still Sgraffito. It looks awesome and it's super fun to do. Thanks for watching my video and be sure to check out this one next.